Welcome to the December 17th edition of PFF Forecast. It was a rough week last week. We're here for redemption. We're going to talk about the Bills. We're going to talk about the MVP conversation. Is it over? Or is there a game next week to determine who wins the MVP? Coach of the year. Who's going to win Coach of the year? Of course, we're going to guess the lines. We're going to get back on the right side of things. Last week, don't want to talk about it. Let's rock. I'm so ready, guys. I'm so ready. We're just a few hours away from an episode of Get Up after a Cowboys collapse, a debacle, which means we're going to get 2 straight hours. I have a great open. It's coming later in the show. We'll get there. I'm George. I'm joined by Brad and Arjun as usual. This is the pre-Christmas Sunday night edition. Next Sunday, obviously, will be Christmas Eve. So tune in on Wednesday. We'll kind of figure out the schedule for that. We have a couple of different ideas for like a prop spectacular edition. So Christmas note there. So this is the last Sunday night edition of the PFF Forecast for a couple of weeks, but we'll make it special. Let's start with this, fellas. The Bills and the Cowboys game of the week, and it really wasn't much of a game. Bills absolutely kicked the crap out of the Cowboys. Should we overreact to how bad the Cowboys look today, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, like their run defense has been a problem all year. So it's certain issues that have been popping up the entire season. And you can't say, oh, yeah, Jonathan Hankins was out, their nose tackle, who's like 35 years old. Like, oh, that's why they lost. Like, no, that's not. They missed 12 tackles against the run on first review, which is a preposterous number in just one facet of play. I can tell you. So, no, I don't think it's an overreaction. Like, I'm not even saying the fraud thing or losing to good teams thing. Not even that. It's more they have glaring, obvious weaknesses in certain facets of football that they just have not been able to correct.
Yeah, like I tweeted it out earlier in the week. Like the Cowboys like EPA per rush was top 10, but the rushing success rate was like bottom 2, and that's just because they forced a lot of turnovers via fumbles or whatnot. And the Bills didn't turn the ball over, I think, on the ground today. So obviously they just ran all over them. Shout out to, I think Judah was the one who gave out James Cook over rushing yards, and that was maybe the most sweat-free bet of the week. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys run defense, like, it is bad, and it is something that people haven't taken advantage of, mainly because teams are always losing to the Cowboys. But once they do have to face the Niners or even the Eagles, where these teams are good and can stay within a touchdown distance and they can run the ball, I think that does cause some issues. The bigger one, though, I thought the Cowboys offensive line was horrendous today, and this is a Bills pass rush that is kind of mid. It's not like world beaters like they were at the start of last year, even with Von Miller back in the lineup, but they were getting after Dak Prescott all game. And I thought Dak had maybe his worst performance of the year that basically knocked him out of MVP contention. On first review, he has a 41.3 passing grade and 4 turnover-worthy plays with no big-time throws. Like, this was a horrendous performance by him. The Cowboys scored like 1 garbage time touchdown, but for the most part, the Bills defense shut them down. So I honestly am a little bit worried about the Cowboys offensive line, especially that Zach Martin got hurt. And I do think that's something to monitor for the rest of the season.
The Zach Martin thing, it was kind of crazy because it really seemed like everything they just had no answer, right? It's like, oh, we lost Zach Martin and now our offensive line is going to disintegrate, which was really surprising. You mentioned Dak Prescott's grade. He's had 3 games this year with a PFF passing grade below 45. Those have come against the Cardinals on the road, the Niners on the road, and the Bills on the road. The only other kind of game on the road where he has played a semi-decent team and played semi-decently well was against the Eagles in that Week 9 loss, PFF grade of 75.2. Other than that, every good game has come at home. Which is interesting, the friendly confines of Dallas. I'm just going to say this. I think the Cowboys are who we thought they were. I don't think this really changes my opinion at all. Teams will get blown out. Like, it'll happen. but you get banged up. I also think, as I said last week, I think the Bills are the best team in the AFC. So this shouldn't have been overly surprising. It just looked particularly bad because of Zach Martin. But I think we've seen teams, I guess this is a good comparison. When the Niners were without Trent Williams, their offense looked like complete garbage. Like, I'm not sure that Dak Prescott is necessarily in that group of quarterbacks that rises above a ton of issues. There aren't many out there, to be perfectly honest. I think he played against one today and got his butt kicked. So,
I also think we talked about at the deadline, I think we all agreed our favorite or maybe most influential move we thought was Rasul Douglas, and we kind of lost the plot because the Bills just kind of fell apart. Their defense was terrible. Their defense is playing better now, and he, again, he's been huge for them pretty much from the moment he arrived in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That was a huge addition. Desperately needed it. I thought also, you mentioned the James Cook thing, Arjun, like the way that they've used him as a legitimate weapon in this offense should not be understated. Is that Joe Brady? Like, do we owe Joe Brady some love here?
It did change from when he took over. Like, I tweeted out his stats earlier. He's top 5 in volume stats, and the Bills had a bye in week 13. Like, he's been and he has had some drops and some issues, but I think it is Joe Brady. They're lining him up out wide a bunch. They are just getting the football in more creative ways. And he is a guy that you need to scheme touches up for. He's a Jahmyr Gibbs type guy. Like, he's not a 25 carry between the tackle player. And he kind of was being used that way and rotating with Latavius Murray and Ty Johnson, etc. I think Joe Brady is using him differently and deserves some credit for sure.
My favorite thing about this whole thing, I said it last week, I love how everyone on Twitter there was a parade on Twitter to take Sean McDermott and go crucify him. Like, for an entire day, that's all we did on social media. And I just love when everyone is totally wrong and everyone wastes their time and all of their good. The tweets were spectacular, though. I need some tweets tomorrow about the 9/11 speech. Because some of those are honestly great content. But yes, rightfully so, should have been drilled. But the whole kind of this team is completely devolving into a complete pile of nothingness because of a speech from multiple seasons ago or whatever it was absolutely hilarious. And I think great to see that they've kind of figured it out. Okay, let's talk Coach of the Year real quick. I don't think Sean McDermott is going to win Coach of the Year. Although maybe they could give it retroactively for his incredible locker room presence. Who deserves Coach of the Year, Brad?
Good question. Also, to put a bow on it, you'll understand these Joe Brady terms. He got CEH drafted in the first round, so that guy knows how to use a scat pack as well as anyone. So don't forget. He's a master guy.
Real quick. So today, CEH, all 4'7" of him, caught a touchdown pass in the end zone. And it just reminded me, I went back and watched some of the takes from when he was drafted. And without fail, every single person mentioned that he's not just a running back. He's also a receiver. And we finally saw it today, 5 seasons later. So
Brad, that's the thing, George. He's a weapon. You can line him up in the slot. He can run routes. He's a weapon. It came through. Yeah. So I differ on the Coach of the Year thing, I think, on a week-to-week basis. I hate the old, you pick the guy who exceeds his regular season win total by the largest number of games, which kind of is how the award gets handed out. I'm just going to go with Kyle Shanahan. I think you can make a case for Shane Steichen. You can make a case for a lot of that bucket. But, yes, they were the presumptive favorites for the Super Bowl coming into the season, so it's going to work against him. But I think we do forget, at least me in particular, being we have a guy who had 6 starts last year, who had a significant elbow injury, and their offensive line has one good player on it. They've dealt with some adversity with injuries, stuff like that, and they've just been the most dominant team in the NFL from start to finish. Baltimore's been similar. There was the stat tonight they've had they've led games for 90% of game time, which is the most through week 14 for any team in since 2005. I think the Colts with Peyton Manning, but anyway, it's just. They've been the most dominant team in the NFL, minus a 3-game stretch. And I just think, I don't know if he has one yet, but he needs one.
You can get Kyle Shanahan right now at 7-1 to win Coach of the Year. So I think very, very interesting. When I pulled up the odds, I was expecting Shanahan to be at or near the top. Current odds: Dan Campbell, D'Amico Ryans, Shane Steichen, all 3-1 on FanDuel. Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan at 7-1. Kevin Stefanski is 14-1. Arjun, who is your Coach of the Year?
Yeah, my Coach of the Year. I've been on this train for the past month. It's Shane Steichen to me. This is my guy. Like I've loved Shane Steichen for the past year, and it's crazy because I took the Colts under win total back in like March. Like I thought this team was, kind of regressed from last year. They let go of Shaq Leonard. Shaq Leonard still they let go of Stephon Gilmore. I thought their roster, got worse over the offseason, and Shane Steichen has done a tremendous job. You lose your quarterback one very early in the season. I mean, I know Gardner Minshew, friend of the pod and everything, but the guy's making less than $5 million. Like he's was treated as a backup by the NFL, and Shane Steichen has him at, I think, 8-6 now. They're both their outside corners are rookies. I think it's like Juju Brents, and they have this revolving door like Darrell Taylor, Jack Jones. But their offense has just been impressive to watch. And I think the best part is he utilizes the strengths of all his players so well. He leans into the RPO game with Minshew. He's gotten a lot of production out of Zach Moss, even when Jonathan Taylor's out. Michael Pittman leaves the Steelers game, and the Colts still put up 28, 30 something points.
31 points with some dudes. DJ Montgomery, some good names out there.
So and that doesn't even take into account that Matt Gay missed 2 field goals in that game, right? So he's been able to kind of wither all of these injuries. Michael Pittman's en route for a breakout season, probably going to get a bag this offseason. I just think he's done a great job of putting players in positions to succeed. And, I think they've been a pretty good team against the spread. I forgot to check that, but just because of how well they've kind of overperformed expectations and what he's had to deal with at the quarterback position, I would give the award to him.
No, they cover every week because they're never at a field goal plus. I would bet they're one of the best teams in the league ATS. I would assume.
I think they are the best team in the league ATS. If memory serves, someone will look that up and throw it in the chat. I think it's very interesting that Shane Steichen is 3-1. I don't think he has much of a chance to win, although I would agree with you, Arjun, that I think he should be the Coach of the Year. You can't name a player on that team that there's a reason. I think ATS record is one of the best stats for Coach of the Year. It just does such a good job of contextualizing. We are very good. The market is very good at saying this is how good this combination of players are, and the coach is able to elevate them and get that. That's why I think Dan Campbell will probably win this award as kind of a career success. Getting more out of a really crappy kind of set of players and team. I really am interested in both McDaniel and Shanahan at 7-1, thinking about who I would bet at this exact moment. So if Shanahan beats, if the Ravens go and beat the Niners beat the crap out of the Ravens, and then they will finish the season off with a couple of wins. I think it's very interesting. Does he get discredit for having so many weapons on his team? I don't know. Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins have a very tough stretch, but they could go beat Buffalo. I think they play them at home, so that there is an opportunity for them to have another kind of showcase win. And I do feel that he's gotten a lot of pub. And so if there's a little bit of a narrative towards the end of the season, I think both those guys are worth a bit of a bet, maybe a unit or a half unit there.
I think Steichen is the best of that cluster. I just struggle with, when you mention those names, how do voters differentiate between a D'Amico, a Steichen, a Kevin Stefanski had injuries? I guess not D'Amico with the Texans. I guess Stroud didn't play today, but injuries at quarterback, overcome it, dramatic improvement from last year. I mean, Cleveland's defense was horrendous. I know Stefanski calls the offense, but he gets a new coordinator. That they've had the worst quarterback situation of probably any team in the league, even when the starter was playing too. That's where I struggle, is just obviously depends how things end up. If Indy or Houston wins the division, I think that matters a lot. But I'm just kind of sitting here being like, there's too many of those. Hey, took a bad roster and exceeded expectations. Maybe we just give it to a powerhouse and give it to a juggernaut. But yeah, he might get downgraded for having all these great weapons.
All right, let's move from Coach of the Year to MVP. This one, there appears to be a bit of a settling in the market. Brock Purdy is now minus 200 on FanDuel to win the MVP. Lamar Jackson is plus 450. Dak somehow is still 7-1. Is the MVP over?
I mean, it certainly might be. I do think though the leverage of Lamar versus Brock Purdy could be the key, right? They're playing against each other. Let's say Mike McDonald has another one of his master classes against a phenomenal offense. Well, a good offense. He's done it against good offense. He hasn't done it against a Niners-esque offense. And then Lamar balls out and evades pressure like he did tonight. Like he was so much better than his box score tonight. It's not even funny. But anyway, let's say he beats them head-to-head, gets the number 1 AFC seed. That's probably the only path. What's Josh Allen's odds, by the way? He's a sneaky one for me.
This is why I didn't mention it, Brad, because this was my take. Josh Allen is the MVP of the NFL. He's the highest graded quarterback. His team has, no one on that team who has played above expectation on that team throughout the season besides him. Nobody. You can't
on offense, 0 players for sure. Like
I
you
would
said
say-
definitively.
I would say James Cook.
Okay, James
Fair.
Cook.
Third
That says it all.
in scrimmage yards. We got to give the man his props.
That says it all. So Josh Allen is 10-1. He's 10-1. I don't remember what he was last week. He would have been a great bet last week. Here's the question. Do they have to win the division for him to get MVP? I would say probably yes. They're, by our numbers, about 30% to win the division. So 10-1, but if they win the division, then I think he should be the MVP. So to me, I think that's very interesting, right? You get 10-1, and basically you're getting 10-1 on them to win the division, but they really have a 30% chance. And what does that go to if they beat Miami? I think, much, much higher.
You were first to market there. You deserve all the props in the world. You were calling Buffalo like a month ago. So I'm glad you had it ready in front of you because I wanted to go there because he also first quarterback in NFL history today to score a rushing and passing touchdown in 10 games in a season. And all these things these things matter. I'm not saying it matters to me. It's just those narrative type things always matter. Some turnovers, whatnot. But he could lead the league in passing touchdowns. I think still. I know he only had 1 today, but. Could lead that category. Obviously, the rushing, and yeah, I mean, he has been he should be our MVP when PFF kind of does those things, particularly if they do win the division.
So Arjun, we'll get to you in just a second, but let's think this through. So right now, Buffalo's 8-6, Miami is 10-4, Kansas City is 9-5. So they're only a game behind Kansas City, but would have the tiebreaker, right, against Kansas City. Or does it go to conference record? Is it not head-to-head? Is it conference record?
It's head-to-head, right?
This is great podcasting. I thought it was head-to-head, but
I think it's head-to-head first and then conference record. Yeah.
Okay, so they would, but Kansas City has here's Kansas City's next 3 games: Raiders, Bengals, Chargers. Okay, so that's 3-0. So the Chiefs can stay ahead of the Bills by virtue of already being ahead of them. The Bills have the Chargers, the Patriots, and then they close out against the Dolphins. But the Dolphins are 10-4. So the Dolphins, however, have Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. A very, very challenging schedule. They go to Dallas. They play at home against Dallas. They go to Baltimore and then play at home against Buffalo. So they could easily go 1-2 in those games. If they go 1-2 in those games and lose to Buffalo, then Buffalo would win the division. That's how I think it would go. So you do need a few things to happen there for Josh Allen. You need not only them to beat Miami, but you also need Miami to lose one of those other games.
Yeah, Miami at Ravens though is I would assume they lose that game. Nothing's for sure, but
what's interesting about that is if Lamar is plus 450. Obviously, the money line in San Francisco is going to be less than plus 450. I think that's an interesting one, right? Like if they go and they win that game, everyone is watching that on Christmas night. And let's say that as well, Mike McDonald makes Brock Purdy look kind of like a pumpkin. Like that could be a big shift. I would say right now there's some very interesting bets in the MVP conversation. Looking at Lamar at plus 450 and looking at Josh Allen at 10-1. And meanwhile, Brock Purdy is playing well, like playing really well. Did anyone watch that Cardinals game today?
To be honest, not a play.
I watched like bits and pieces, but
no one watched that game. Okay, but people will look at the score and look at the box score and go, "Oh my God, Brock Purdy! Look at him!" And they'll go on Twitter and they'll see everyone on Niners Twitter telling you that he's Joe Montana II. So that's what's going to happen. There's going to be too many people that see that. He played fine today. There's nothing super spectacular that he had to do through the wide open guys all day. Arjun, who would you bet on right now to win MVP?
Yeah, I'd probably just bet Lamar. I think it'd be tough for Josh Allen to win because he threw for 94 yards in this game against the Cowboys. Like I know he's carried this off, like he has carried this offense in other games, but in a game where I think everyone had this game on, probably America's game of the week, threw for 94 yards and James Cook ran for he had like double that scrimmage yards. So, I don't think Allen really made as much of an impact as I would have wanted to see for him to be MVP. Now, if he closes out with a great 3-game stretch, he gets the Chargers this week, so that should be fun. And then closes out with a big bang against Fangio, then yeah, he could turn it around. But right now, I think the recency bias, like people will say like, oh yeah, the Bills won, but Allen didn't do anything. So I don't think that plays into his favor. So yeah, I probably bet on Lamar just because whoever puts up a better performance next week will probably jump into the lead. So you probably get some closing line value. And if you don't, it's a plus 450 bet. So it's not like you're really losing too much either way.
Yeah, it's a really good point about the game today. I think that will get overlooked. But to your point, like the combination of that and how hard it is for them to get the division, I think makes a lot of sense. I also just feel we talked about Kyle Shanahan as a potential coach of the year. The fact that Kyle Shanahan is a potential coach of the year candidate, the fact that Christian McCaffrey, I believe right now, is the overwhelming favorite to an offensive player of the year. There will be people looking for a way to give it to someone other than Brock Purdy. So
I'll say this on that. Look, people, especially the analytics nerds, they say, the running backs don't matter. They say, this historic, legendary San Francisco 49ers running back, he wasn't worth the investment. The team paid too much. All he does is score touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And look, Raheem Mostert has 20 touchdowns now. He is the MVP of that team. Let's acknowledge it. He was worth the investment, 3 years, whatever, $6 million in Miami. It is what it is.
Way to turn that first round pick into something. All right. Are we ready to get on to the games this week?
That's right.
All right. I'll pull this up so that we can take a look. Now, this is not safe for work, what I'm about to show you on the screen. It's not pretty. Okay. So I'm giving you guys fair warning. But I'm going to put it up anyways because that's the type of person that I am. And we don't hide from anything here. This was last week. Okay. This is what you call a bloodbath. All right. This performance, the only worst performance that we saw today was the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. If the Chainsmokers had played tonight, and I had seen them, that would have been the third one, but I did not see that apparently. This was brutal. So Brad continues to lead thanks to going like 3-5. I managed to get a push out of the mighty New England Patriots. Great job by them. Should have covered that game. Complete disaster. Anyways, thankfully, Jesus Christ, a donut. Thankfully, still plus money here. A lot of good weeks behind us. Week 16 needs to be a bounce back, though. That's what happens. So we'll start with New Orleans and Los Angeles. This one is a Thursday night football game. We obviously have a couple on Saturday and then a bunch on Christmas Eve, and then we have 3 games on Christmas. Brad,
Yeah, real quick. Arjun's the guy we're chasing. He has 5 losses
he has
in hand.
crept ahead.
Yeah. But hey, I gained, I guess, a game this week. So anyway, I got Rams minus 5.5.
I want Rams minus 5.
I've done a great job of having mine ready to go. Let's see if I can actually pull this up. Jesus Christ. Good job. This is great podcasting. Give me 1 second.
Oh, no.
Where is it? What a nightmare. All right. I had the Rams by 3.5. Let me get this on here. All right. Can one of you guys look it up? Well,
Yeah, I'm seeing
pulling up DraftKings right now.
I'm seeing 4.
4.
Some
Brad.
4.5s, but mostly 4.
Brad, you're back on the New Orleans bandwagon.
No, I had Rams minus 5.5.
I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah. Big win
Rams.
today. Impressive win today.
Yeah, it really was. Are you betting the Rams?
I am going to bet the Rams here. Yeah. Also, just speaking of the Saints, I think Jimmy Graham might set a record. I think he has like 6 catches and 4 of them are touchdowns on the year.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable. But yeah, we talk about it time and time again. The trench advantage. The Saints are no longer a good team in the trenches. They were forever, but their interior defensive line, as bad as any team in the NFL. Edge rushers are an aging Cam Jordan, good Carl Granderson, some decent pieces there. But anyway, I'm not concerned for the Rams in that matchup. And then no Ryan Ramczyk in this game, no Chris Olave in this game for the Saints. We'll see if they're ready for Thursday. Maybe that's part of the thinking is the short turnaround. But I think the Rams have a legit trench advantage in this game. And then, Marshawn Lattimore's been on injury reserve. Like, you have matchups you can pick for Matthew Stafford, who has been probably the best quarterback on throws 10-plus yards downfield and on 3rd and 4th down over the last month, maybe 6 weeks. He's been remarkable. I just don't see how the Saints offense can keep up scoring with this Rams team right now. I will take the Los Angeles Rams.
Yep, I'm with you, Brad. I think Saints were somewhat good today, but against Giants aren't a great football team. I've been so impressed by Sean McVay. I think Matthew Stafford's just on an absolute heater right now. There's not really many quarterbacks that are playing better than him, if I'm being honest. And so, yeah, get him on a short week. No Olave, no Rams. Like, even if they are playing, I still really like the Rams in this spot.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know. There's a little something about the Rams that just worries me. They seem to me to be very kind of up and down, and I just never know what I'm getting them for any week. I'm going to lay off. I'll let you guys bet these and avoid the kibosh early on. Stay away. Saturday games, we have 2. First one is Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Steelers plus 2.5.
I went Steelers plus 1.5.
I have the so is Pickett back, or is this still our?
I would assume we get one more game of Trubisky. I think he could be, but I don't think he will be.
Okay, I made this a pick'em. I'm going to be off again, aren't I? It is they're plus 2. Plus 2.5, plus 2 is where it settles. Man, this feels like a Tomlin game, but if we get another game of Trubisky, I just can't do it. He's so bad.
Yeah, I don't know if Tomlin game. I think Tomlin games. I don't know. There's been about 6 Tomlin games in a row per the PFF Forecast podcast. I've said it twice. Arjun said it twice. You probably said it twice. I don't know if it's happened for any of us yet, but I'll probably stay away. But I am buying in on the Jake Browning Bengals. It's not just a screen game, which has been great. Chase Brown's been a fun revelation, but he's pushing the ball downfield too. Like, they're a legit offense. My only reason I'm not betting this is I don't know the deal with Jamar Chase with an AC sprain in his shoulder. That is what's going to keep me away here. But otherwise, I probably would have taken Cincy.
Yeah, Brad, out.
With an AC sprain, by the way.
Yeah.
What's up? Sorry, say it again.
Hey, George, what did you say?
I said it's going to be tough to play with an AC sprain.
Yeah.
And that was my logic. I mean, I would really want to take Cincy here. I mean, Browning put in another like above 80 passing grade performance, which is against the blitz of Florida's blitz, which is really caused a lot of problems to people. But yeah, like without Chase, I think it becomes a lot more difficult. And yeah, Tomlin at home dog, like all factors in. So I'm gonna stay away.
Buffalo and the Los Angeles Clippers. This is Saturday night, but it is Sunday night. This game is going to be streamed on Peacock. It's the only place you can watch it. It's on the cock. So get yourself locked in. Brad,
they probably thought they had a beauty of a game that everyone was going to sign up for Peacock just to watch. Hey, go sign up for Peacock. NBC Sports is great. Shout out Chris. But anyway,
Easton Stick.
Yeah. I had Easton Stick and the boys plus 2 tutties. Try not to overreact to both games, but I may have.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brad. At 14.
I had it at 12.5. Oh my God. Jesus. It's 13.5, 14 everywhere else. Okay, we'll make it 14. Jesus Christ.
My trepidation here, I think you're getting an all-time new coach bump.
Yes.
I think we saw a team. Well, Arjun, I get that we're getting GIF or JIF Smith. Still TBD if it's GIF or JIF. Let us know in the comments if you know how to pronounce his name. But those players, like, I think they legitimately walked into the game and were like, let's get Brandon Staley fired tonight. Like, I don't want to play for this guy anymore. Let's get him fired at halftime if we can. So I'm staying away for only that reason. This could be an absolute bloodbath, though.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly could. But let's also think about this. Buffalo coming off of 2 huge wins, right? A couple of really, really, really big wins. Huge favorite, and then has everything to look forward to. Now, yes, they need to win this game. It's not like they can afford to lose it. But I don't know. I don't want to overreact too much to Buffalo beating, yes, good teams. I love the new coach bump. Great point there. I don't know. I'm staying away. I can't take Easton freaking Stick. There's just no way. They just lost by 40 to the Raiders.
Arjun, do you think Keenan Allen plays before you jump in? Maybe that's part of your
that's a good question. But... He was dealing with a heel injury, which, like, I don't know. Those are kind of tricky. I mean, he'll have like 10 days or 9 days of rest. It's possible. I wouldn't put it past him. I also don't think he has anything to play for at this point, unless he's trying to reach just new records or trying to get a new extension or whatever. So it is possible, but I just don't see any point in why the ownership would make him try to make him go through that. At this point, you kind of want to see Quentin Johnston get snaps. So that's a good point. I think one look I would try to look at Bills team total over. I'm not too sure what that would be. It's, the over is 42.5, spread of 13.5. So we're kind of looking at like 27.5, no, like 28.5 and 15 maybe, or 28 and then 13.5, something like, or 14.5, something like that. So I think that's what it would be. So I'm going to take the Bills team total over. I guess we just have to wait till a line pops up, but I think their offense rolls.
I'm riding with you on that one. I didn't do it last week with the Rams, and I wanted to, but I'm joining you.
Is it GIF or JIF? I am compelled. On that one. I like that a lot, especially with the Josh Allen MVP wild rompus that is about to commence. So I will join you fellas on that Buffalo team total.
You might get defensive scores too. There was 2 in the Raiders game. So
true. Yeah, Easton Stick is a blessing. All right, we're on to Christmas Eve. Detroit and Minnesota. These two teams played twice in the last 3 weeks. This is the first one. Brad, would you make this?
I had Vikings plus 3.5.
I went Vikings plus 3.
The Vikings plus 4.5 because of how much Nick Mullins I watched. It is. Where is this game here? Here it is. 3.5 FanDuel and DraftKings. So we'll go 3.5. You guys basically nailed it. I feel as though the wheels are falling off of the Minnesota Vikings a bit. I know they covered. I felt like it could have been worse with how Mullins looked. And my feeling is that it doesn't get better with a guy like Nick Mullins. Like the first game, I expect that to be the best. And then the games from then on, people start to figure him out. So I don't really see how it gets any better for them, but this is obviously a do or die week for them, right? So they've got to get a W. I am going to take the Detroit Lions, so I just think they're a much better team.
They probably want some level of continuity, but I do wonder if we get Jaren Hall because, like Mullins was atrocious, and obviously Dobbs struggled at the end of his run too. I'm thinking I don't love it because the Lions' defense is pretty bad, but this blitz against Jared Goff could cause problems. The first half against Jake Browning, obviously they did nothing. They did, solve Flores in the second half, but it's also we talked about the blitz rate. Flores also leads the NFL in drop 8 rate, and I think we could see some Goff interceptions this game too. I'm going to go with the under 47 in a big divisional matchup. Scares me because Detroit's defense is not very good, but that's how I'm rolling.
Jaren Hall.
I hope it's not Jaren Hall. I hope it's Mullins I hope it's Mullins.
Arjun, you betting this?
No, I'm gonna stay away.
I have faith in Jared Goff, system quarterback. It's inside, Brad. So.
It's inside, which is a huge bump.
Huge thing for our guy, Jared. Washington and the New York Jets. What a disaster of a game.
Yeah, this is a beaut. I had the Jets minus 2.5.
I made it a full field goal.
Wow. I had the Jets by 2.5. With Trevor Siemian? Come on. It is Jets 3. Jesus.
Are you taking the comment? This is a huge winner is a loser game for sure. And this is like quarterback implications, Marvin Harrison implications.
I don't know. I've taken the Commanders in so many games, and they've just let me down. Time and time.
Yeah, Sam Howell might take 10 sacks in this game. If it's Sam Howell, it could be Mr. Brissett. Too.
It could be Brissett in this game. Yeah, very well could be.
Could be Rodgers in this game. Who knows?
It's true. True. If Rodgers play, it would be a classic game to get the Commanders at home as the that's the best setup imaginable.
Jets are home.
I'm saying he gets to play at home against the
Commanders.
Yeah. Probably the worst defense in the league.
What are the odds that he plays?
I think they needed to win today. I actually think health-wise he can. I think now it's more just does he want to, play with in a lost season is the bigger question.
If there's any inkling that he might play, Get Up is going to be must-watch television.
Greeny is going to be buzzing.
He's gonna walk onto the set, gigantic erection, face flushed.
The pattern of the pants. It's the pattern of the pants.
Oh man, they have to activate him this week, or he's out for the year, right?
I believe that is the window, right, Arjun?
I think he is activated, but he has to just get medically cleared at this point.
Oh, he's not medically cleared? I thought the clip of him making an interception at practice is what medically cleared him.
Yeah, I was waiting for your comment on that too.
Not true.
An all-time tweet. It's like teammates were reportedly wowed by Aaron Rodgers making a leaping one-handed interception in the back of the end. So it's like, dude, this guy is literally getting reporters to tweet out softcore Rodgers porn, but he's totally anti-leak. Totally, how dare you leak to anybody?
If he plays, the crazy thing is that it would be like you should be put in prison if you allow him to play. Like, you can't allow him to play. But no one in the Jets organization is going to tell Rodgers no. So, like, if he just has the right mushroom complex this week, like, he might play. like if he just gets the right amount of lion's mane in his, in his drink this week, he'll be ready to go. Okay. If his mud water has the right amount of ketones, he's gonna be good to go.
Oh my god! I was gonna make a Lions main joke too. It's just too good. I really was. I had it in the holster.
Oh, God damn it! It's a real. You think I'm kidding? The reason I'm laughing so hard is I actually am not kidding. Like, legitimately think right now he's mashing up his mushrooms. Like, yes, this is the right concoction. I'll be good to go. I hope he plays. God, that'd be amazing. He has to run out with a flag again too. Green Bay, Carolina.
Panthers plus 5.5.
Panthers plus 4. I can't believe I said that.
Neither can I. But never again with the Packers. Never again. The Packers are a fraud. I went 4.5 as well. Or I went 4.5. Where is this here? There it is.
I see 4.
4.5. 4. I see 4 in most spots. We'll go 4. Brad, you do anything with this?
I'm going to do it. They're the biggest frauds on the planet, but you now get Carolina riding high off of Victory Monday. Just, and you get Green Bay absolutely struggling. I guess the issue here is Jaden Reed got dinged up with a toe at the end. I don't know about Christian Watson's status. I'm still going to do it. So leave it to the Packers to not win when they're playing the Carolina Panthers. Like, the one time they wouldn't win is when it screws over the Bears. But no, anyway, I'm going to buy low on Green Bay.
I'm not betting Jordan Love on the road as a favorite anymore, so you can just pass on me for that.
Yeah, never again. Cleveland. By the way, Jordan Love was only part of the problem. The fact that the defense turned Baker Mayfield on the road into Tom Brady was fucking amazing.
His downfield passing was laugh out loud funny compared to the rest of the season. Like, Steve tweeted it out earlier, and I'm waiting for the grade tomorrow. He's gonna have like a 97 passing grade on throws 10 plus yards. He was 10 of 11 for like 200 yards. He was completing like 40% of passes 10 plus yards downfield before today.
Throwing absolute lasers. Let me look up his grade. By the way, someone in the comments pointed out that Brock Purdy made a few nice throws. Yeah, pending review, he's going to have another mid-70s PFF grade that results in 170 pass rating. Baker Mayfield, pending review, has a 90.4 passing grade. Which
let Baker bake.
Would be checks notes a full 12 points better than any other grade he's had this year. He has not eclipsed 80. His passing grade has not eclipsed 80 so far this year. He had a 90.4 on the road in Green Bay. You should retire as a defensive coordinator. Cleveland, Houston. We get CJ Stroud back in this game because I can't watch Case Keenum again.
I think so. They toyed all week where it was like doubtful, but they kind of left the door sort of open. I'm going to say we do get him back, and I think we also will get Nico Collins as well. Anyway, Texans -3 is where I put it.
I made this a pick 'em.
Holy crap.
Oh, wow.
Do you think CJ Stroud plays, or do you know someone?
Yeah, no, I think Stroud plays. I'm really high on the Browns, I think, right now.
Okay. Are you just really high, or you're high on the Browns?
Shut up, Jordan.
Houston is 2.5 point favorite. Joe Flacco looked to me like you get your dad who used to play like D1 athletics. You convince him to come out on Christmas Day, play some ball with the boys. First game, he's lights out. And then all of a sudden, you're a couple games in, stamina starts to erode a little bit. Now you're just blowing by him. He's given up like 20 points each game. That's what Joe Flacco looked like today. Little bit of gas from now.
I mean, on first review, he had 4 turnover-worthy plays, and the game I watched, I hope after further review that number gets bumped up to like 7 because he was Santa Claus out there just delivering gifts to all the girls and boys across the Bears defense. But then I mean he was lights out in the fourth quarter. Are you taking him, George? Are you taking the Texans?
We're like positive Stroud's back.
That's my thing. No, I'm not positive. I do think he will play. I'm not 100%. So,
I mean, it's a concussion. Like, there's nothing you can really know about that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put a little sprinkle on him tonight, just because I think I do think Stroud will come back. I think if Stroud comes back, maybe there's a chance that it moves out to 3, and I'd like to get this at 2.5. The other thing here is that the Cleveland defense has been absolute like night and day, road versus home. Total night and day. And I really think it has a lot to do with at home. It just gives their defensive line such a big advantage over the offensive line. And on the road, that's just not quite going to be the case. So yes, give me the Houston Texans throwback.
I'm joining you. I also thought too, like Laramie Tunsil, as well as anyone can do against Myles Garrett, you will get that from Tunsil. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the whole home road splits with the Browns defense. Okay, I'm just gonna lay off. I knew I was gonna be off market with it, but yeah, you guys convinced me not to bet it.
You spent too much time in Laramie Tunsil's gas mask. The Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons. Minshew, Ritter.
The fail clowns.
But we didn't talk about this with the Carolina Panthers. The pictures of their stadium having like 7 people in it was honestly the funniest crap. Like, I always laugh when you see those bowl games. It's like the Mr. Peanut Montana Bowl or whatever, and there's like 7 people there, and like, I love bowl season. Isn't bowl season great? It's like, Acorn State beat the School of Mines by 40. Like, yeah, I'd rather watch The Grinch for the 30th time. That's what that looked like.
It was amazing. Tickets were like $3 to sit like lower bowl, and there were legitimately 20 people there. It was incredible. And I don't blame them. If you went to that game, honestly, like, seek help. Go to a bar. Go sit at home. Like,
how much would you have to get paid to go to that game?
Like, a lot, because I'm missing all the actual football. Like, a good amount, like $50 plus. Like,
way more than $50. I need a box with like a 5-course like amazing meal and like red zone in the box.
Maybe if I had a box close enough to see Tepper's reactions and him just like clenching his fist, that's worth like a chunk of change.
I'd do it if I could sit in Tepper's box and just like ask him questions.
I'm sure he's a delight on game day. I can only imagine.
I bet.
Anyway,
yeah.
I had our Falcons plus 2.5.
I saw Desmond Ridder play today, and I made it a full 3.
I'm old enough to remember when the Falcons were the official PFF Falcons, and we bet on them every single week. I went 2.5 as well. It is 2 at DraftKings, 1.5 at FanDuel, 2 at Circa. We'll call her 2. We will call her 2. This is your chance. This is it. The market refuses to give Shane Steichen and Gardner Minshew their due.
Never. It's every week. That's why I knew they were going to be good ATS, because I don't think they've been a field goal favorite like the whole season.
Yeah.
Maybe against some terrible team they played that I'm forgetting. But like Patriots in Germany was under a field goal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, these are your guys.
Yeah, it's an easy bet. Like, easiest bet of the week. Like you're getting the coach of the year against Desmond Ridder under field goal. Like I don't care home away in Mexico and Germany. Like you just give me Shane Steichen. That's all I care about.
Real football analysis for me, real quick, is Chris Lindstrom did not play today. I don't know if he plays in this game, but the Colts interior is a problem. Buckner, Dairo Odengbo's been great and kicks inside sometimes. Like matchup wise, I don't like it either. And then you can pick on the Colts outside corners if you had completed, if you had a quarterback who had 25 receiving yards for any wide receiver today. However, he did not do that. Jonnu Smith had 61. Kyle Pitts had a breakout 37, and our dear boy Drake London had 2 for 24 to lead all wide receivers. So yeah, I'm with. Wait, actually, hold on. Tucker Fisk had a catch for 9 yards. Shout out Tucker Fisk.
The weather, there was some inclement weather. Okay, this is indoors. I expect the Atlanta Falcons to look better offensively. That said, I will take the Indianapolis Colts here.
Go look up Tucker Fisk. Everybody out there, go Google Tucker Fisk. What a mane of just flowing locks of lettuce. This guy's
you
beautiful.
asked me what Tucker Fisk looked like. I'm giving you it's minus 2,000. He has long hair.
Yeah, I agree. That's fair.
Minus 2,000. Seattle, Tennessee. I'm guessing no Will Levis, and this is Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, he was warming up on the sideline. What happened there? I also missed all of that game intentionally.
Everyone thought they refused to show the replay, so everyone immediately assumed that his leg was like broken in half, and then he ran off the field.
It wasn't his leg; he got like bent. Like his like chest was like it was like one of those like scorpion things. I don't know how to describe it, but like he was like bent in a super awkward way. So either like his back or his chest. Because yeah, he walked off fine. He just like super out of it. So yeah, it could be Tannehill, it could be Levis, it could be Drew Lock in this game also. I don't know what the hell is going on with Geno, so that's a tough one to monitor.
Another privileged game. All right, well, I'll be honest. I saw Tannehill throwing balls on the sideline, and then I just saw the Texans kick a field goal, so maybe I'm way off here. But I went Tennessee +3.
I can make it a full field goal. I went 2.5.
I saw Tannehill warming up and said, I will make this 3. And it is 2.5 across the board. We haven't seen Seattle play. Obviously, they play, depending where you are, tomorrow or tonight, against Philadelphia. I'm going to lay off just until I see whether Geno makes it through a game.
Well, he's definitely not playing against Philly, right? Or is he?
Geno? No, he's not. I think he got ruled out, didn't he?
I think he's ruled out. Yeah, we're getting Drew Lock against the Birds, and then I think we could get Geno in the Tennessee game.
He's a game day decision, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I personally think he will play.
Okay.
Given that he played after that elbow injury, I think he's I think he'll be, if he's 70%, I think he'll play.
I want to take Seattle. I'm recalling a comment that told us the Titans don't lose at home, so that's obviously ringing in my ears, in the back of my head. I mean, Seattle's reeling. Seattle's totally reeling, but like their issue is they can't cover anyone, and I don't know if Tannehill takes advantage of that. There's too many question marks, but I really want to take Seattle in this game.
Yeah, so do I. I can't bring myself to.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Jackson State, and Tampa Bay. This one is in Tampa Bay.
An insult to Jackson State. I got the Bucks +3.
Yeah, same.
I watched Jacksonville play today, and I don't know what's going on with that team, but it was weird actually watching Doug Peterson and John Harbaugh, who used to be just great decision makers, just phenomenal decision makers. And it was like they just didn't care anymore. They didn't care about my feelings. They just didn't care. And it was hard to watch. The Jags stink. I made this a pick'em. I can't believe it. I made it a pick, and I'm sticking to it. I watched Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady today. That impacted me a lot. It looks like we've got 2 at DraftKings, 2.5 at FanDuel, 2.5 appears to be most common line. So we'll make it 2.5. I love Tampa Bay as a teaser. Like,
I will say Lawrence is in the concussion protocol right now. Peterson said it. So
Trevor.
Yeah, so that's probably notable in this game. I would say the Bucs could become favorites, honestly, if he's out.
Yeah, obviously.
So
I
I
don't
don't
shot at the end. He was like shaking his arm out too.
Yeah, so I don't know if I think BetStamp still has I don't think any of the lines are updated because no one probably has the lines up right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, that I think that's something notable.
Yeah, I don't see it live anywhere, which makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So I guess this isn't really anything. We can't really do much with this, anyways. If Lawrence is cleared, though, this is 2.5. I will tease Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm avoiding it now with the T-Law news. The total is interesting to me too. Here at 45, the Jaguars defense is terrible. The Buccaneers defense is terrible. I mean, the Jags got pressure today, but they get pressure from their edges, realistically, from Josh Allen. Walker did have a good game. He deserves some credit. Trayvon Walker was good tonight, but the Bucs tackles are awesome. It's their interior that's bad, and the Jags don't really get interior pressure. So I think both teams are going to score again, barring Trevor Lawrence actually playing. In Florida, I assume decent weather, 45 total, and just bad defenses. But anyway, we don't know enough.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see. Dallas and Miami. Great game.
Fins minus. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just say great game.
Yes, finally. Fins minus 2.5.
We are in Dallas, Miami. Sorry.
I went Fins -1.
I have the Miami Dolphins with Tyreek Hill playing -2.5.
Yeah, I assume he was back too.
Yeah. I would definitely change it if he was not. Where is this? This is 1.5 at Bet365. 1.5. It is 1.5 everywhere. Yeah, tomorrow on Get Up is going to be quite wonderful for I'm leaning towards this. This Mike Greenberg Open. Is Dak cracked, or was he just joshing in Buffalo? Meanwhile, one of our guests thinks San Francisco quarterback is the best in the league, and he's only had half a bottle of Bailey's in his coffee this morning. And then they just panned to Rex Ryan. He's just beaming with a foot in his mouth. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. I do think they spend a solid hour on Dak Prescott tomorrow, and the Dallas Cowboys will be phenomenal.
I'll go with no scam from Cam. Newton knew it. Dak is a game manager. That's my.
I love that. That's great. That is elite. Newton knew it. Yeah, they're gonna have to play the Cam Newton thing back again. Maybe we get dope.
Yeah. His take aged well. Shout out Cam Newton. Great take.
Except for the Jared Goff one. The Jared Goff one didn't age super well.
Yeah, 5 tutties.
Yeah. You guys betting this?
I'm not going to bet it. The Cowboys are interesting because they're a super aggressive defense, and they're also super physical. And I think the Dolphins have kind of struggled with physical defenses in the past. We saw, the Titans give them struggles a little bit. I do worry about the Cowboys' run defense in this game. I think the Dolphins could run all over them and use the Cowboys' aggressiveness to use their aggressiveness against them. I also think the Dolphins' defense has been really good. I think since week 8, they've been number 1 in EPA, top 3 in success rate allowed. This is a very, very good Dolphins defense, which the Cowboys didn't look great offensively today. So I would lean the Dolphins, but I don't know. I get a little bit worried about how the Dolphins' offense would perform.
It's a great matchup because they also can attack these linebackers on mesh and crossers and over the middle. I mean, I mentioned 12 missed tackles. Like, it's also just Dallas is trotting out like safeties, turning into linebackers. Like, they're so banged up there. And I think Mike McDaniel is going to put them in hell in the same way Shanahan puts those guys in hell. I'm with you. The physicality scares me a little bit. The offensive line, against Micah Parsons, etc. But it is a good matchup for Miami, I feel like.
What's the status of Zach Martin? Do we know?
It's a good question. He was ruled out fairly quickly, I feel like.
Yeah, let's see if we can find out here.
Because that's a big one, too, because Christian Wilkins is playing probably the best ball of his career. Zach Sealer is always a good player. Like, I know our sweet prince, Jalen Phillips, is down, but the interior for Miami's been good, too.
Avoided major injury, hopeful to play.
Okay.
His knee was deemed stable. Spent the rest of the game on the sideline. Big bandage wrap. He said, I thought I maybe did something with my knee the way I got hit. Went back, got it checked out. Luckily, my knee was stable and felt good. I got hit deep in the quad. Went to the tent, stiffened up, and wasn't firing for me. A fluke thing. All right, so it sounds like if he can get over a quad bruise, he'll be able to play in this game. That's my medical opinion. I'm very tempted. Very, very tempted. I want to take the Miami Dolphins here. And you brought it up, Brad. The way that Kyle Shanahan demolished the Dallas Cowboys, I expect Mike McDaniel to be able to do something very similar in this game. I don't know.
If you pull the trigger, I'll join you.
I'm doing it.
All right, I'm with you.
I agree with you. I think it is a good matchup. I hate the spot. You're buying Miami at the top, selling the Cowboys at the absolute bottom, which I despise. Because the Cowboys are just going to they're going to have to listen to Mike Greenberg and Rex Ryan all week, tell them how much they suck. And we're going to get some kind of Jerry Jones this week, don't you think? Got to get some sort of Jerry Jones quote where it's like, I still have faith in Dak, still think he can lead us to a Super Bowl. And then there's some kind of comment at the end where it's like, but if you can't win a Super Bowl with a quarterback, you got to keep looking for one that can. And like just throw that jab right in the back. They pan to Trey Lance. He's trying to put the last few strands of hair back in his head.
Yeah, we could get some Ramsey on CD too. Like as I'm thinking through, there's more matchups that I like for Miami.
Yeah, he'll travel with him, I would guess.
Sure.
I would assume so, and plays well in the slot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. New England and Denver.
I got you skipped a beautiful, beautiful game before Sunday Night Football. How dare you?
I did. I skipped Arizona, Chicago. The 85 Bears scared about how good this defense is?
They should be. It was like 14 picks in the last 5 games, I think. Is this the game of the week? You think it's gonna be a flex here, George? You think this might be Sunday nights? Yeah. So I went Bears -3.5.
Same.
I had the Bears -3. I cannot make it full 3.5. Let's see here. We have got 4.5 at FanDuel, 4.5 at Circa. Holy shit!
4 at DraftKings. Interesting.
Brad, your Bears. I'm just gonna get out ahead of this. I am betting on the Cardinals.
So you watched the game. I know there was some garbage time production. Like, how did they look when the game mattered against the Niners?
Arizona looked good on the first drive of the game. The pick six obviously hurt. I wouldn't say that it was like a Mac Jones-esque pick six. Kyler scrambled a little bit. They got the doors beaten off them brakes beaten off them because San Francisco's a dominant offense and they just kept scoring. I don't know. Justin Fields should not be a 4.5 point favorite against anyone but the Panthers.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. He did get his receivers today were just comically bad, but he also, I think in the second half, he was 6 of 19 for 65 yards and a pick. Again, the pick probably should have been a walk-off touchdown. But anyway, yeah, they shouldn't be. But it's a joke, but it's not. And they did give up 200 passing yards to Joe Flacco in the fourth quarter alone. But the defense is good. Like, it's a legitimately good defense. So I'll stay away.
Bro, what would be your thoughts on under 44.5?
Yeah, I took the under 38 this past week for Cleveland, Chicago. So also, shout out Darnell Mooney for dropping that ball, getting me a W. I do like it because the Bears, I assume, are going to run the ball a ton because you can run the ball down Arizona's throat. And so they'll just rotate all three guys. You saw the split between Roshan Johnson, Deontay Foreman, and Herbert was like even. Fields didn't run a ton. It kind of didn't call for it today. But, I think I like the under because I think both teams are going to try to run the football. I think it's a decent bet.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under 44.5 here.
I don't live in Chicago. I don't know, but I would assume late December Chicago weather is probably going to be ass. Would be my guess.
Let's find out. Let's see here. Chicago weather. I want it to be beautiful. Let's see. Brett, get your swimsuit out. 47 degrees. Winds 10 to 12 miles per hour. Precipitation.
Yeah, warming is real. That's beautiful. That's balmy.
You might need to get some SPF out in Chicago this weekend. New England, Denver, Sunday night.
There we go. You got so ahead of yourself. You were so excited to talk about this game. You just couldn't wait for it.
Good God in heaven, this is going to be a nightmare. The NFL trying to get people to go to Christmas Eve mass by putting this game on at night is really doing the Lord's work.
It's true. It's beautiful. It's poetic. Denver -6, which felt gross, but I think I might even be short.
I went 5.5.
Yeah, I went 5. Denver stinks.
Okay. They do.
Denver stinks, and the Patriots were not great today, but they should have covered that game. It is 5.
Yeah, they should have.
That game should have been a cover. And by the way, I tweeted out the Kansas shitty Chiefs, and someone was like trying to get after me. When after the game was over, they were like, "Do you got any comments or anything?" And I was just laughing. It's like, yeah, this is what they've come to. The Kansas City Chiefs are now raising banners for beating by one of the worst teams in football by more than 10. You just don't see it anymore. Congratulations. But I actually thought that New England played all right. And I don't know. I thought that the New England defense, despite the fact that they ended up giving up, a decent number of points, like I also thought that they showed some stuff. So I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to actually bet this, but
the defense is legit. 36.5 is so low, but I honestly don't hate it. Because the Broncos, yeah, they're exposed. They're hashtag frauds. Give Samaje Perine more targets if you're serious. I have no bet on it, but the Patriots defense is legit. They've been legit all year.
Arjun, you betting this?
I'm going to stay away from this game.
From watching it as well.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, Christmas Day. A true joy. These games are actually decent, and Christmas night. What a beautiful game. Las Vegas and Kansas City.
I went Chiefs -9.5.
I went Chiefs -8.5.
Went Chiefs by 7.5, and I wanted to not even make it 7.5. Wanted to make it 7. Oh, it's 10.
All right. We're taking AFC, George.
Oh, great. Yes, definitely.
That's right.
Travis Kelce had 10 yards today?
30, but that's the Belichick against number one options thing. But yeah, he did not look good.
Maybe. Let me just say that I loved watching Taylor Swift turn into an angry Chiefs fan today. It was great. It was really something special. AOC, extra rest, Christmas Day.
AOC, you know what they say about AOC off the mini buy? You know what they say.
Yeah, I'm gonna regret this, especially because like Christmas Day in Kansas City, it's gonna be a movie. And Santa actually, I mean, here's the thing: will Andy Reid be tired from delivering gifts all night?
I'll let you guys ride that one just as like a leverage play for me for the season. I agree with you guys, but
having a ton of milk and cookies the night before is going to be rough on Big Red.
Yeah, unlike other nights where he's real strict to his diet.
Yeah. What do you say we do that again with those nuggies? Oh man, look, Rashee Rice looks great though. So I think they're going to win a Super Bowl.
They probably will, is the thing. That's like not because they're great, just because the whole league stinks. Besides your Niners are all we got.
How does Kadarius Toney still get snaps?
Yeah.
Justin Watson might be he's their second best receiver. I mean, it's a comedy show. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Stop it. All right. Giants, Eagles.
Birds by 11.5.
I want Birds by 12.
Is this is Tommy D gonna come back for this, or what's the
I don't know if he got benched. I mean, he got sacked 7 times in like 20 minutes of gameplay. So I don't know if he got hurt or if he just. I mean, his pressure to sack rate is laugh out loud. It's probably the worst in like a very long time. Even when he was good, Tommy D, he was still taking sacks at a preposterous rate. So I don't know if he got benched or hurt. I'm not really sure.
I made this 12.5. Let's see here. It is 10.5.
Huh.
Interesting.
So we haven't seen the Eagles yet, and Hurts has an illness. He'll be fine by this game, obviously. This is in Philly on Christmas night.
As long as it's not long COVID. Yeah. What's a worse place to play than Philadelphia on Christmas?
And I just feel like they're going to be able to. They can withstand the blitzing from Martindale because their offensive line is great, especially on the interior against Dexter Lawrence because obviously there's not much to speak of on the edge. Mailata and Lane Johnson will shut down Kayvon Thibodeau. It's so hard to lay this many points with the Eagles, but I want to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I would. This would be Philadelphia. The link would be the last place I would ever want to be on Christmas Day.
Legitimately, the last place.
Like it could be the link, like Chernobyl and hell. I would be like, man, I don't know. The devil, like you might have something kind of spicy for dinner. It could be kind of cool.
George, like the gulag minus 120, like
maybe grow like a third eye or something. Yeah, I think that would legitimately be the last place on earth. I really want to do it as well.
I do have a bet on this game, and that is our king who's been sleeping for the past year. Boston Scott, anytime touchdown. It's time to bring it back. I don't know. Like I feel like Sirianni knows about it at this point, so I think we will. I think he'll get carries inside the 5. I don't know what the price opens up at. Hopefully, it's at the minimum 2-1 or better. Because I mean, I don't know if the dude scored a damn touchdown all year, but I think just for the culture, we have to. I don't think I'm going to track it here, but for people out there, once those lines open up, make sure we hit that.
That'll come on the Proptacular Supreme. That's a Proptacular, highlight for sure.
I'm not going to bet it. If it were Tommy D, for sure, I would bet it. Tyrod has this weird like cover ability. I'm staying away.
Agreed.
All right, game of the season. I've been waiting all day to hear what you guys are going to make this spread. Baltimore and San Francisco.
I went Niners by 4.
I went Niners by 3.5.
I went Niners by 4.5, and I did not think that I was going to be the strongest on the side of the Niners. I actually thought there was a chance I was the shortest. It is 4.5 at FanDuel. Looks like 5 at DraftKings, 5 at BetMGM. We'll call it 5. There's a 4.5 out there. What do you? I mean, are you guys taking the Ravens here?
Nah, you won't catch me fading Kyle Shanahan. So I'm just gonna enjoy this game for what it is.
Like, I want to dissect matchups and stuff, but like matchups don't matter against the Niners. Like, because there's so many things I think do go in their way. Like, we talked about the Niners picking on linebackers. Roquan Smith, probably the second best linebacker behind Fred Warner in the league. Patrick Queen's been legit good for a year and a half now. Like, up front, Metabike is a monster, and he should dominate the interior of San Fran. Like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The run defense for San Fran hasn't been great. It's been good, but it hasn't been stellar. Although, shout out Keaton Mitchell, our guy. Hope you're all right. Didn't look too great, but it just doesn't matter. Like, matchups don't matter. It's just Kyle Shanahan, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting matchup. I do think that this is the test here from a defensive perspective. As good of a one as you will see. I think Kyle Hamilton, is a fantastic chess piece to have. Obviously, they can cover on the outside too. Like, it's gonna be very, very, very interesting. Ronnie Stanley, he's being evaluated for a concussion. Do think that kind of matters against that defensive line for San Francisco. I will stay away as well. But I do think, I don't know, how could you see Baltimore winning this game by more than a field goal?
Not only no, because I also think the narrative where Baltimore wins, to me, is an extremely low scoring game. I don't think they're going to score many points against San Fran either. Like,
like Niners have a very athletic defense. Like, their edges are athletic. Warner and Greenlaw are extremely fast. Jair Brown, like, coming out of college, he had one of the highest like GPS speeds that was reported. So, like, this is a very athletic defense that I think will contain Lamar. Like Brad said, I think it will, if Ravens win, it would probably come in like a low scoring game where, Purdy just gets flustered by the sim pressures, the stunts that the Ravens bring, and all the disguises they use. So, and yeah, like Ronnie Stanley has been rotating with Macari, so it would be really tough to see the Ravens really doing well offensively.
Some good questions here. Macari has been playing well. That's very fair. Hargrave and Armstead back. That is my thought. I don't know if you know anything, Brad.
I would assume so. That's my thought as well. I don't know, but I think so. Yeah.
So I don't
Hargrave more confident, but anyway.
I don't think playing this game just -5 or +5 makes a lot of sense. My thought is, so either the Baltimore Ravens defense is a problem for the Niners, in which case I think you take the Ravens -3, -2.5, something like that, or it's not, and I think the Niners could win by 20. Right?
Yeah.
This is it's. I don't think it's like I don't think it's like some sort of like middle sort of situation where the Niners win by 3. I don't know. I really much more kind of would tend towards one of the tails, to quote our guy Judah on this one. And I think it'll be interesting to see what some of the numbers come out on it. But I could definitely see. I mean, the Niners are just. There's also, I think, a thought that the whole AFC stinks, right? So the whole AFC is just terrible, and so the Ravens are the best so far. But what does that really mean? And the Niners are just a solid, 5 to 7 points better than every other team out there.
Yeah. No, if I was doing it, I agree 100%. I would go also if we're doing full Judah, like the narrative where the Ravens win, you take them -2.5. I wouldn't do it with a total, but Lamar rushing yards to me would be in that SGP. I think he's going to have like 80 plus rushing yards in this hypothetical outcome where they find a way to win.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Any thoughts on that, Arjun?
I mean, I think Brad covered it well. Yeah, I think I'd have to dive deeper into some of the specific matchups to really go into what Judah would normally do for things like this or games like this.
The what McDonald did tonight, he did a very good job of kind of crowding the line of scrimmage and then, kind of falling back and not actually blitzing. I worry about the Jags. What we saw tonight, the Jags are just so different than the Niners. The way that the Niners can pummel you up front and just really make you pay. I don't know if that's going to work against them. But will be fascinating. We'll be back with you guys on Wednesday evening, as we are at every week. And we'll talk through what the Christmas Day schedule looks like then. So hopefully you guys come and hang out with us. Get yourself ready for a very, very special Christmas. We love you all. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.